on. No, I'm serious. I'm not prepared for this. Like I just told you, I'm not prepared for anything.
All right, so let me do the honors then.
All right, why don't you do this?
All right, today's guest on the dance talk is Eugene Katsevman. He is probably, I think from my memory, 11 times national amateur champion. Turning pro right away, became second in pros in the United States, made all the pro finals right away. I mean, dominated United States in, I don't know, best couple since like youth category. So it's decades and decades of so many results. That's just going from the memory. Welcome.
Thank you. You guys, nice to be with you.
Eugene, you finally made it with us.
I finally made it.
Oops, I'm hearing somebody's phone.
I got a visitor too right now.
Oh, awesome.
All right, so let's start this dance talk show. Eugene, I know that back in Brooklyn, am I correct? You guys have a dance studio with an amazing cast of so many children. I would love to know, how do you cultivate that?
Well, the studio, you mean?
Yes.
Well, when we stopped dancing, we opened the studio immediately, and we just carried on from what we were doing before. So we've had students, and we were teaching as we were dancing for the most, part of our career. So it was a smooth transition, and we carried on a lot of our students, and they continued to do great things and be very successful. So we're very grateful for that.
Do you guys organize camps for them? How's it going now? What are you guys doing with it? Is the studio open at this time of the year in the quarantine?
Right now it's closed. We are planning on reopening beginning of July after the holidays. But yes, of course, we organize camps for them regularly during the year. We did one online camp during the lockdown, but we didn't do much online work in this break. We are preparing now with an online membership going forward for people who are, remotely learning through the break or otherwise. So we'll be ready for that when we reopen. But
so with your experience, what is the good age for kids to start dancing? What is the good kind of introduction?
well,
if we had to bring the children to your school, what would be something that is appropriate?
Right. We accept kids from 4 years old. So they come in as young as 4.
Do you teach them ballroom right away, or you do guys some, like, I don't know, fun classes?
They start. Yes, they have those preparation dances, but they do start with ballroom and Latin right away.
Right. What age did you start?
11.
11. I started at 7. Girls, what about you?
I started at 3.
I started at 3, but not ballroom, because like many of you guys will know, my mom was in the opinion that I'm not supposed to dance with a boy before I'm 16.
Oh.
16 was with the ballroom, 3 it was with the dancing.
Right. So boys at 11, they usually start because they like some kind of a girl and she was dancing and that's why they joined. Was that the story or no?
Pretty much. I had a friend that I still have in Ukraine, and he was living in my building and he was dancing. And one day I tagged along with him, and then I liked it. So at that age, like you're saying, what's nice is that it's your own decision. So it wasn't that your parents bring you, or nobody makes you dance. So it was my own will, and then I liked it, and then I stuck with it.
So if you started only at 11 and already, I don't know about your junior career, but you definitely won youth in US. So how fast your career became successful?
Well, I danced a couple of years in Ukraine, and then I moved to the States, started dancing with my partner that we became sort of successful with. And we started in silver. So we did silver Latin syllabus.
Uh-huh. I don't even
first.
know that.
And then we did gold, we did pre, and then we, so we then we did pre-champ, and it went pretty fast. We didn't do any junior competitions.
Who
So we
was
kind
it?
of
Like,
skipped it.
I literally can't even imagine you pre-Masha.
No, this was with Masha in
Oh,
America.
it's already with Masha.
Yeah.
Was she your
So,
first partner in America, or
in
you?
America, yeah. Yeah, I had a few partners in
Wow.
Ukraine, and then in America, we started dancing together. We went through those stages, and then our first year in youth, Blackpool, we were in '96, and then in the second year, we were second.
Wow, that's
Wow,
amazing.
this is amazing.
I have a
And
question.
then
So
the following year, we won.
when we were practicing, I mean, obviously I got a lot of my training in England, and my favorite studio at the time was Assembly Studio. So nowadays that studio is closed, and the studio, when I just look around, and obviously I'm in America now, so when I look into America, the only studio that reminds me on that studio is actually yours. So if I was still dancing, I would probably want to go there and just be there at the practice nights and everything. Have you been at Assembly Studio? Was that something that was inspiring for you, or is that just accidentally all going the similar direction, or what is the story?
No, absolutely. It's nice to hear, and that's not an accident at all, because we trained in assembly. Our main teacher was Peter Maxwell, so we were there all the time. We were still there when we saw all the greats practicing there. So
Yes.
Fabulous.
and Brian and Donnie and Gaynor,
Yes.
all of them were there. So when we had our own studio, of course, it has an influence on you, and anything good that you witness in your own, creative outlets, you channel it. So the studio is not an accident, that it has a similar vibe, and I would say the same with the competition. You remember the best comps in the world that make an impression on you, and you try to take the best from that for yourself.
Which leads me
Eugene,
to, yeah, go
sorry,
ahead.
Lynn.
No, go
Eugene,
ahead.
before we get away from this subject, actually, where can people find out about maybe the camps that you guys are organizing or schedule for your studios, so we can promote it and we can share it with our audience?
Well, the studio has a website, brooklyndancesportclub.com, and it's also useful to follow us on social media. We have Facebook, Instagram, and we always post everything as far in advance as we can, all the camps. And the actual schedule is going to be on the website.
Awesome. I want to come back to the phrase that you said, like, when all those great danced there at the simulator, right? So I'm a little bit of an old soul as far as like dancing goes. Like I watched those people, and they were my idols, and I thought at that point that like that was like the, I don't know, peak of dancing, like my idols. And I look at dancing right now, and it's changed. It's more faster, it's sporty, it's slightly different. So what is your opinion on like that particular age of people that we follow, and what's happening now?
Well, at the risk of sounding old or old-fashioned, I'd say that generally I agree with you that there was a certain time, I would say from beginning of the 90s, where the Latin changed and the priorities were different, and they changed for the better. So people were trying to do, in my opinion, was really good and close to what Latin should be. And now, of course, things have evolved, and I think the biggest difference now is that there's a lot more people who dance very, very well. So I think there is no gap in level anymore like it used to be. But on the other hand, some of the tendencies in style change. It's not that they worry me, but they are not close so much to what I believe Latin should be. So,
Right, that's authentic.
yeah.
In my humble opinion, what I see is like in the 90s, we were going away from what they called pushing and pulling when leading, and we were severely going into how to move your body and how to produce everything from the body. And what I personally feel is now, with all the physical education and with the physical abilities that everybody has, that kind of gets lost again, because things can get produced for them through muscular actions, and the patience and the knowledge of how to really produce it from the gravity center and how to use your body sometimes gets lost for me. What is your stance on that? What is your opinion?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there are things that I see. It's difficult to put it in words very sort of concisely and simply just by speaking. But yes, the priorities were on body action. Partnering was heavy, but mostly people tried to move their bodies and they tried to sort of portray that sensibility, not necessarily a stereotype of Latin man, woman, or whatever, but the way people dance, the way they move. And now there is a lot of development in upper body movement and a lot of traveling. You hear a lot about spine and shifting, and people progress a lot around the floor. And if I just, you know, it all sounds nice, but if I just stop and think about it, I always have a question. Since when is progressing and traveling is a priority in Latin American dancing? So in my mind, it's supposed to be a sort of a stationary exercise. So you move your body with the music, with another person in a small confined space. Therefore, you have a lot of resistance in the body and the body moves because you're not, you know, expending that energy through space. And now a lot of it seems to be almost you know, diametrically opposite of that. And, you know, without passing any judgment, I reserve a right to my own opinion. So for me, that's not, you know, particularly attractive.
So you just mentioned the music. And for me, music is a huge part of why we dance.
Guess who is calling me?
Michael?
My partner. Turn her off.
Which is the favorite location where you travel to?
You know, I said this in my other interview. My favorite location to travel to is to come back home after I've been somewhere else.
But now you've been home for so long.
Where would you like to go?
First place I'd like to go is to the studio.
Right.
And to start teaching and start moving again. That would be nice. And of course, I miss the competitions, but I can also say that I've enjoyed the break, even though it was a forced break. It was not anything I would have ever done for myself, you know, otherwise, rightly or wrongly. So now that I was forced to take a break, I think my body at least is grateful. So I'm not complaining.
So I want to come back to my music question, because for me, when you guys danced, my favorite part about your partnership was the musicality and how you guys interpret the music based on the type of music versus, you know, some people go, okay, this is a Latin action and I'll do that whether the Latin music, pop music, or rock music is playing. Is that something that came naturally to you, or you actually did some kind of a musical education?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I don't think it's so easy to say. I think in my case, it starts with an innate passion and enjoyment of music and sort of a groove you get. Somebody somewhere said, I don't remember who, but they said that you know, dancers' talent lies in the way their brain sort of reacts to music differently than other normal people. So then the chemical reactions and the endorphins produced are the way the electrons connect are different. So I don't know if it's true, but it's interesting.
It's true. You're talking about it and you already gotten happier. You could,
yeah, so there must be something there. But on the other hand, if you don't develop it, I don't think you can take it to a high level, like anything else. So you can think about it like this. You know, I also like drawing. So I am pretty good, but I don't learn and I don't practice, you know, so I don't end up great. So if you take two kids, one of them, you know, at 4 years old can draw great and the other one can't at all. But the one who can't wants to learn and then keeps learning. And the one who's great at 4 doesn't do anything with it. You can imagine by 15, which one is going to be better. You know, so it's a bit like that. So the initial interest and drive moving to the music was always there, but we also spent a lot of times, exploring the subject and finding a formula that works to make it more sort of systematic. So it's not an accident. So it's not lucky, So, and then it's also, if it's not too long, what you bring up about the way we use music is also interesting and not an accident. I'll tell you one story, one of my favorite stories. When I teach, I talk about it a lot. I remember doing a Grand Slam at USDC, at Embassy at the time, but we still had WDSF there. And, all the finalists were there and we had a chance to win. And I remember sitting there with all my friends, all the other couples in the changing room. And the European couples, I remember hearing them complain about music. And they were saying, oh, the music in America is so shit, and it's so terrible, it's not Latin, it's not this or that, it's too disco, and how can you dance to this? Everything like that, all the Danish and the Germans. And I remember, looking at my partner and telling her, great, fantastic. Because, if your idea of musicality and your idea of quality is to be able to only dance to the music that you like and that you practice every day, what you expect, what you put in yourself, then you're not very musical, are you? And for me, it was never a problem to dance to, authentic Latin or big band or disco cha-cha, because if it has that flavor, as a dancer, I have to be able to pick that up and I have to be able to do something with it, not necessarily follow it completely, but to have an answer to what the music is saying. So, and that ultimately, I think, is what musicality is all about, to be able to relate to music in your own way. But if you don't take it on board, then of course you have no chance.
So you're sitting.
And I completely agree. Sorry, Elena.
I know I think it's internet connection today, but I was saying, so you're sitting there listening to all of them complain and you go, haha, I'm winning this one.
Yeah, absolutely, because it just tells me that they are limited in their ways, and then we push that more. And musicality is also one subject that you can't go wrong with on a competition. There are some things that if you think about, they might help, but they might hurt you, I find. But music is one of the very few keywords or subjects that if you focus on it, it always helps.
I completely agree, because every time somebody says it's a bad music, I can't relate. I don't know if it's something from a childhood that I inherit. I love all kinds of music. As long as it's sound, I'm happy.
Well, as a dancer, the judgment of music should not be part of your vocabulary. That should not be on your mind. There is no such thing. And if you are trained, if you have enough information, there is something in any piece of the music that you should be able to relate to. Whether a bass rhythm or a tone or a melody or a flavor or a phrase, it could be very bad music, but perfectly phrased, and you can get a lot out of that in your performance. And if it's completely jazzy, then you go with the feel or with the flow. So if you're educated and you're good, you can make it work.
So I'm gonna switch it from the music to different styles, because most of the people literally only know you as a Latin dancer. I don't even actually personally know if you even ever dance standard, but
there is a reason why you don't know.
But you, during your competitions, once you got a competition, you did shows with other styles, like you did Argentine tango with Michael, you did West Coast swing with Benji. How did that experience on the end of your career, being so successful, learning somebody else's craft and then actually putting that on a dance floor?
Well, I tell you, learning new things with your old partner, that's a nightmare. That is not easy, because you spend all your life trying to mature as a person and understand a better way to communicate then you teach your couples, you know, how to talk to each other and how not to argue. And then you tell them, you know, that you've been through all of this before and now it's better. And then you do something that neither one of you knows how to do. And you go right back to when you were 17. And it's just, yeah, it was an interesting experience. Tango was the worst.
It's also an amazing partnership. I mean, you guys are together. I think there's not many couples who together for so long and to take the entire career with each other. Is that because, and you're both, I mean, I don't know you guys too closely personally, but you seem both very considered and very, you know, keeping yourself rather quiet. So did that help, that personality together? That, you know, I imagine if one of you guys would be more explosive, maybe that would be more difficult, or what was it just like a God's gift that you guys met together, or how did you stay together for so long and made that work?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of questions in that question. Quiet, I'm not sure. I'm not sure is the right way to describe it.
Let's stay focused.
She is certainly not quiet.
Mm-hmm.
And I am, you know, maybe quiet on the outside, but there is war on the inside, usually. So
we're like super popular this talk.
it hasn't been easy, but I think, I mean, seriously, I think, you know, in the end, it's luck, and it's also our upbringing. You know, when we were young and when we started dancing together, we had problems like everybody else, but we somehow, through those problems, never thought that the answer was to change partner. It was not an option. It was not an option on the forefront of our minds. We always thought that we need to look at ourselves individually, improve, and then move forward, and change partner didn't seem like an option. So that's how we made it through, I guess. But it's a one day at a time type of situation. So
Eugene, you've been on a quarantine and staying at home. What is the new projects that you have coming up? What is it, something maybe you know, marinated or come up with and cultivated? Is there anything new that we should be looking forward to?
I wanted to do a camp, a workshop on musicality with people from different dance styles. So I had that on my mind. And then during the quarantine, I invited Benji and Rodrigo Cortazar from Salsa. And instead of waiting for the quarantine to be over, we did it online. So that was one thing. And the second thing was this online membership we're developing for the studio. So that's going to go live as we open up. And the idea is going to be pretty simple. You know, for our students who, you know, can't come for whatever reason, they can participate in their own groups virtually. And then for my own students that live very far away, I have a lot of students in California that want to take my seminars, they'll be able to. And then once we have the capability, then people all over the world can join in and take our classes. And we'll also have some videos, competition show videos, exercise videos that we'll just upload and keep it there as sort of base library. So that's what we've been busy with.
Awesome.
Good. Gives more opportunities to children and to adults, obviously, to connect with you, even if they're away from another state or country, right?
Yeah, so maybe something positive will come out of all this, maybe.
Well, listen, you never know. It's and if we kind of were forced into this position, but I honestly think great things can come out of it. Personal touch in dancing is always more important, I feel, but you know, learning it on distance online, it doesn't hurt anyone. Get more knowledge, more information, why not? But on this note, we only have 10 minutes left, and what we usually do is we do a fun quiz with about 10 questions. It's so I'm gonna ask you questions, whatever comes into your head first, just answer. A lot of them are silly, don't overthink, don't give long answers. You ready?
I'm not particularly fast, but I will try.
All right.
Only dancing.
Right.
Only in dancing.
Only in dancing, exactly. All right. Describe yourself in 3 words.
Oh, wow. Lazy.
That's a first.
Driven. And pleasure seeking.
Lazy but driven. I like that. Okay, what is your favorite body part?
As long as they're pleasure, he can be very motivated.
What is your favorite body part?
Ooh, pass.
Okay. What drives you absolutely crazy in people?
Oh, many things. Many things.
The top one.
Aggression.
Aggression. Okay, that's a good one. If you could time travel, which era would you go to?
60s.
Why?
Seems fun.
Okay. Okay, if you could shop for free, what shop would you choose? Which store?
I don't know if shopping for free is any fun. Then it's like there's no value. You have to spend money well earned.
That's an awesome answer. Everybody chooses the store. All right. What is
He likes to be rewarded.
Yes. Okay. What is your useless talent?
Useless talent?
Useless talent.
Oh, wow. I mean, I don't know, because I guess I'm not using it. But I'll let you know if I think of something.
Well, how about the painting you just mentioned?
Yeah, I like to draw, but I wouldn't call myself talented. I mean, could have been if I practiced, but I haven't.
Okay, what is your guilty pleasure besides being lazy?
Food, probably.
Ooh, all right. Favorite quote?
Say that again.
What's your favorite quote?
Oh, favorite quote. Wow. Of course, they changed, but the ones I'm thinking of now from the songs. There's one, Leonard Cohen has one, where he says, there is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in.
Oh, wow, nice.
I like this one.
I know, it's great. What is the best advice you ever gotten?
I was never good at following advice. So nothing sticks because, I mean, I'm sure I got good advice. I just don't remember it because I didn't follow.
Okay. All right. Last question. If you have to thank someone right now, who would that be?
Say that again, Lena, because we have the
I know
connection is...
today internet is. If you have to thank someone right now, who would that be? One person.
Oh, wow. Thank for what?
Whatever you want. For bringing you toilet paper during quarantine, that will do too. Anything. One person for anything.
I thank myself for sticking through it and making it in the end.
Yay, you made it. The quote is over. The torture is over.
This is amazing. Do you guys have a competition that you also organized? This is my personal question.
Yeah, we have a New York Dance Festival, which is 5th year in February, just before the lockdown. It was great, so we're already looking forward, getting ready, and hoping that it can be, unhindered next year.
Do you guys have dates set up at this moment, or it's still kind of on a hold? Something that you can also share.
It's always the last weekend of February, So it's like next year should be 25th through 28th of February.
That is amazing. This is something we can share with our guest.
Yeah, that would be lovely.
Well, I actually have a totally random question that just came to me. Lately, I hear that you do a lot of smooth choreography. How is that? How does that feel for you? Is it fun? Because it's
I love it.
different music.
It's already a few years I'm into smooth. I've been doing it, I don't know, at least 5-6 years, something like that. No, I really like it. I think once you're good at choreography, and also not just talent, sort of systematically good, then you can choreograph anything. So, and I'm also lucky I get to work with talented dancers, so it's very easy. But yeah, I think smooth is fantastic.
I was just curious, how did it come about? Because, you know, we're literally, if you're a Latin dancer, you go learn from a Latin dancer. If you're a standard dancer, you learn from set. So how did it come? Somebody came and, hey, can you do smooth?
Yeah, and you know, when I travel, you know, as you know, when you travel, you get to work with different people from different styles, and I do have a bit of a sort of cross-style reputation in dance because I don't focus. There's a lot of subjects I work on that are sort of universal across the board. You know, if you work on musicality, that's the same for everybody. You know, if you work on coordination, even that's also applicable for everybody. If you work on dynamics on space or something like that, that's the same for everybody. And choreography is one of those subjects that if you understand structure and how to put things together, that's also the same for everybody. And not a lot of people actually know how to do that. So you have a lot of specialists that understand movement in their style, but not necessarily good at putting things together. So when I teach, I actually have a pretty even spread across styles. I'm not that heavy Latin on my sort of everyday.
Awesome, makes it more fun, right?
For sure.
So here it is, very versatile Eugene Katsevman, ladies and gentlemen. It was so nice to have you with us. We love you. We hope if anything you wanted to share with us, please let us know. We can, you know, put it in subtitles or, you know, add to the video. Thank you so much for joining us, and hope we'll see you next time.
Fun. Yeah.
Thank you. It was super fun. And by the way, I just talked to Daisy, and she sends you a big kiss.
Oh, say hi to her soon. I'll text.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you, Zhenya.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for joining us.
Of course, my pleasure.
Bye.
Bye.
One of the coolest questions. What drives you absolutely crazy? When people are late. It's 10:03. Where is everybody? Hello.